When we think about fitness after 50, it's so easy to get laser focused on cardio or maybe upper body strength. But what about the actual foundation of our entire body? Today, we're diving into 6 absolutely essential exercises for your legs and glutes that might just be better and a whole lot safer than the traditional squats you've probably been told to do for years. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you accidentally ignoring your body's single largest and most important muscle? It's a mistake so many of us make, especially as we get older, and honestly, the consequences might really surprise you. And that brings us right to our first section, the forgotten powerhouse. We're going to break down exactly why weak glutes aren't just some aesthetic issue. No, they're often the hidden source of so many common physical problems we face. Just look at how interconnected all of this is. When your glutes aren't pulling their weight, other muscles have to jump in and compensate. And what happens then? Well, you get this cascade of problems. That nagging lower back pain, poor posture that seems to creep up on you, a much higher risk of falls, and even knee injuries. I mean, these are literally the exact things we're trying to prevent as we get older. And this right here really hits home. We're not talking about some small, insignificant muscle group. When you neglect your glutes, you're ignoring the single biggest muscle in your entire body, the one that's designed to be your powerhouse, your engine. Okay, so how do we start to fix this? Let's jump right into our first 2 exercises. These are all about building that stable and powerful foundation from the ground up. First up, we've got the sumo squat. Now, a lot of people know the traditional squat, but this variation, this is a total game changer, especially for those of us over 50. Let's dig into why. So here's the side-by-side breakdown. Compared to a regular squat, the sumo squat fires up your glutes way more. It puts far less strain on your spine, which is fantastic for protecting your lower back. And as a bonus, it brings your inner thighs into the action. To put it simply, it's just more effective and a whole lot safer. And hey, this isn't just my opinion. This is backed by actual research. A study from the University of Memphis found that the sumo squat can boost glute activation by a whopping 25% over the traditional version. That's a massive difference in effectiveness. Now, to do it right, you want your feet nice and wide with your toes pointed out. As you lower down, here's the key. Think about sitting between your legs, not sitting back like in a normal squat. And it is so critical to make sure your knees are tracking in the same direction as your toes. It's all about creating that wide, stable, and safe base. All right, our second foundational exercise is the glute bridge. This one is incredibly effective, wonderfully simple, and just about as safe as it gets for your joints. So at its core, the glute bridge is just a powerful, low-impact way to zero in on your glutes and your hamstrings. The real beauty of it, though, is that it strengthens these crucial muscles without putting any major stress on your spine or your knees, which makes it perfect for pretty much anyone. The movement itself is really straightforward. You just lie on your back with your feet flat. But here's the secret sauce. You want to consciously squeeze your glutes first to start the movement. Then lift your hips until your body forms a perfectly straight line from your shoulders all the way to your knees, and really hold that squeeze at the top. Okay, so we've built a solid base with those 2-legged exercises. Now it's time to take things a step further and master unilateral strength. This is all about working one leg at a time, which is absolutely crucial for building balance and fixing those little muscle imbalances that just naturally happen as we age. A perfect example of this is the Bulgarian squat. Don't let that name intimidate you at all. It's one of the best tools you can possibly use for developing single leg strength, stability, and symmetry. And this is exactly why this exercise is so important after 50. It immediately tells you if one leg is weaker than the other, helps you fix those imbalances, and directly improves your stability. So here's the real takeaway. Getting better at your Bulgarian squat literally translates to a lower risk of falling in your everyday life. Next up, we have a true classic, the lunge. This is such a fundamental, functional movement. I mean, it mimics things we do every single day, like just walking up a flight of stairs, which makes it incredibly practical. So for a perfect lunge, you're going to take a nice controlled step forward and lower yourself down until both knees are at about a 90-degree angle. The key here is to keep your chest up and your core tight. Don't let that front knee cave inward. Then push off strong from that front foot to come all the way back up. All right, for our final pair of exercises, we are focusing on something called the posterior chain connection. This means we're going to target the glutes with real precision and give some much needed love to the often forgotten calf muscles. Exercise number 5 is the donkey kick. Now, this one isn't about lifting heavy weight. It's all about pure muscle activation. It lets you isolate and really fire up your glutes in a way that very few other exercises can. And this isn't just a theory. A study by the American Council on Exercise actually found that the donkey kick creates more intense, isolated glute activation than even some weighted exercises do. The key is that mind-muscle connection, really truly focusing on that squeeze at the top of the movement. And finally, we have the simple but oh so essential calf raise. You might be surprised to learn just how critical these lower leg muscles are, especially for our overall health as we get older. And this brings us to this really fascinating concept, the second heart. You see, every single time you contract your calf muscles, you're helping to squeeze the veins in your lower legs, pushing blood all the way back up towards your actual heart. So what does that mean? It means strong calves literally improve your body's circulation. That is a huge health benefit, especially as we age and our systems can become, a little less efficient. So we've learned the 6 key exercises, but knowing them is one thing. How do we actually turn this knowledge into action? Let's build a simple, effective weekly plan. Here is a super simple way to put it all together. Just 3 days a week is all it takes. On day 1, you'll pair the sumo squat with the glute bridge. Day 2 will be lunges and calf raises. And then on day 3, you'll combine the Bulgarian squat and the donkey kicks. It's a really balanced, efficient plan that gives your muscles plenty of time to recover and get stronger. We've covered the why, and we've covered the how. The only question that's really left is when. So after everything we've talked about today, what's the very first step you'll take, maybe even today, to start building a stronger foundation for your future?